Order. Commissioner Hess, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Our first item on our agenda is the second reading of Ordinance 116, the Theobald rezone. Is there anyone here to speak with that?
I would move approval.
I'll second it.
Moved by Sutton, second by Hanson, to approve the second reading of Ordinance 116. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
It will be roll call in the
Okay.
It's second reading and adoption, right? Yeah. You don't want it anymore? No, that's right.
We have just a couple minutes. Max, you want to just take care of a couple of your items?
Okay, the April 17 general meeting minutes. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Fishback, second by Commissioner Kepley to approve the general meetings from April 17th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And there's also the April 17 consolidated equalization minutes.
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Kepley to approve the April 17th consolidated board of equalization. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Claims?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Hanson to approve claims. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
HR report.
Second. Moved by Kepley, second by Fishback to approve the HR report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Authorized advertising ordinance 117, it's a Schinkel rezone.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Kepley to approve authorized advertising ordinance 117, Schinkel rezone. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Authorized advertising ordinance 118, Schuster rezone.
Move it.
Move it. Or second.
Moved by Fishback, second by Hanson to authorize advertising ordinance 118, the Schuster rezone. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, there was a plat, Neitzel.
Move.
Second. Moved by Sutton, second by Fishback to authorize the Neitzel rezone.
This is, plat.
Plat. Neitzel plat. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the landfill cell 3 project, we have the contract and notice to proceed. Need to authorize the chairman to sign. Move it. Second.
Moved by Hanson, second by Kepley to authorize chair to sign the landfill cell 3 project. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, there were several leases, Smith with alcohol permission, Combs with alcohol permission, Master Gardeners, Northeast Area Horse Racing, Froelich, Relay for Life, and then the Mossbrucker Rodeo, they postponed it, and so they also used the Expo Edition. So this is kind of after the fact, but it takes care of the addition. I would move them.
Second.
Moved by Kepley, second by Sutton to approve the leases. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
There were the contract agreements for the weed and pest bids. There's one from Van Diest and one from DAPCO. Second.
Moved by Fishback, second by Hanson to approve the contracts for Van Diest and Adapco. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I think we'll go on to our next item. Close enough, I think. Next item on our agenda is the bid opening for Brown County Road 13 asphalt contract surfacing project.
Morning.
Good morning.
dirt going in?
Is what?
Dirt?
No.
No,
that's
he's
out
the
of town.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, advertisement for sealed bids, Brown County Highway 13 concrete surfacing. Sealed bids will be received by the Brown County Commission, Brown County Courthouse, Aberdeen, South Dakota, until 8:50 a.m., 24th of April, 2018. Bids shall be prepared and submitted in accordance with the bidding document. Brown County reserves the right to accept or reject any or all bids as set forth in the bid documents. Project includes asphalt concrete surfacing at 2 locations, total length of approximately 6.7 miles on Brown County 13. The project consists of approximately 10,000 tons of asphalt paving. Each bid shall be accompanied by a bid surety as described in the bid document. Successful bidder will be required to provide payment and performance bonds as required. Okay, that was about it.
I'm sorry, Max, how many miles did you say?
6.7.
6.7.
Thank you.
First bid is from Lean Transportation in Aberdeen. We did have one addendum for this project, and Lean's acknowledged the addendum.
Do I have a copy of the addendum?
I don't know whether you don't.
We should probably get a motion to approve the addendum.
Motion by Sutton, second by Hanson to approve the addendum. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I can
Keep that.
okay.
And this page, bid from Lean's.
The bid bond.
Yes, there's a bid on, I'm sorry. Bid from Lean's, $850,750. The next bid is from Central Specialties Incorporated of Alexandria, Minnesota. And they have not acknowledged the addendum and provided a bid bond. The bid from Central Specialties, $825,800.
You said they did not acknowledge the addendum?
Yes, they did, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
they did.
The next bid is Bituminous Paving Incorporated from Ortonville, Minnesota. They have acknowledged the addendum and provided a bid bond. The bid from Bituminous Paving, $786,000 even.
I like the way these numbers are going, yeah.
How'd you line those up, Max, like that?
Okay.
This bid is from Dunick Incorporated of Princeburg, Minnesota. They acknowledge the addendum and included a bid bond. The bid from Dunick is $835,650.20. And I think that is it, is that correct?
Yeah.
So that's 6.7 miles, that's all of Prairiewood 14 to 281, and then what?
No, this project is on County 13 from Highway 37 west
Oh,
towards
okay.
Tacoma Park. That's about 5.2 miles. And then there's a smaller stretch on from Highway 37 east. So that's a portion of 13 that's a couple miles, 3 miles south of the other location, and that's a mile and a half.
Which of those companies is doing 37? You know?
It's Pierpont Road then, right?
Yes, it's the first part of the road. Pierpont. I don't know as any of those are doing the Highway 37 project.
Is the one working down by Groton or something?
There is a project south of Groton on Highway 37, but unless you,
I believe by Children's.
if Bituminous has that one, you could be right about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might just another way.
You heard of the low bid, you know?
That's why they're low.
You know those people, the low bid?
Bituminous?
Company?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. They've been around a
They've
long
been around a
time.
long time.
Yeah.
We do have some of the contractors here, so we thank you guys for bidding. Appreciate that. I'll take these in Max's office and look them over and report back in a few minutes.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank you.
bidders.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion to refer, or?
I'd make a motion, we refer those bids for
Second.
review.
Motion by Kepley, second by Sutton to refer the bids. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Here, did you not have a bid sheet?
I got it.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Look at bid.
Done is what I did.
I like that.
Couple $100,000 under the estimate, that's always nice.
Our next item on the agenda is Deanna Arbor. Quarterly report from Community Health.
Morning.
Morning, Deanna.
Hi.
Thanks for helping reach your folks.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm on the answer the phone.
Tell me about it.
We have an update, the flu season's over, right?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much. It's gone way down anyway. We can start with flu. We had over, 5,697 confirmed cases as of April 7th, which is a lot.
The statewide you're talking about?
Yeah, 821 hospitalizations and 57 deaths. And I did post the graph that showed all the cases we've seen since way back in 2004. So this is the most reported cases ever since that date. H3N2 was the circulating virus, and typically history shows when we have H3N2 circulating, the year will tend to be a little bit more severe. So the numbers that we're seeing currently have gone down, but we are still seeing some cases. Vaccine is still available. We do still have a few people coming in here and there to get their vaccines still at this point. Other than that, we've kind of slowed down now that flu is over, and we're just kind of back to services as usual. So we're doing family planning every day, which is where we provide reproductive health services, contraception, pregnancy tests, STD testing. WIC numbers are up. Their caseload was 862 over the last quarter, and their numbers will kind of fluctuate just depending on the time of year. So we're busy with that. POD, we're still doing POD. Joanne Paulson is the consultant that we have contracted with to provide services for us. She kind of leads the meetings, she heads up the exercises, that kind of thing. We are planning an exercise for the fall where we will be vaccinating children and college students. Where and how we're going to do that is yet to be determined. She did want me to reach out to you on the commission. If any of you are interested in POD, she would certainly welcome any participation. If it's something you're interested in, she'd be happy to come in and visit with you about what we're doing, just to kind of get like a POD 101. So just reach out to me if you are, and I can get you in contact with her. School contract services, we did complete our contract services for Warner, Frederick, and Hutterville, and we are in contract negotiations for next year. Warner and Hutterville will also contract next year for school services. Frederick did decline. They are going to work with the Lions Club and provide vision screening only. So So, any questions?
Do you provide that to them, school districts free of charge?
No, it's $30 per hour.
30 now?
Mm-hmm, yeah. And Warner's kind of cut back a little bit too. They're also working with the Lions Club to do vision, so we're kind of seeing that trend across the state. So with Warner, I go in and do scoliosis, hearing if they need it, full assessment, height, weight, blood pressures on kindergarten and 5th graders, and then scoliosis.
Is your funding for WIC been cut?
No, no.
I thought I saw on the national news.
Not that I've heard, Family planning has been cut a little bit. We'll have a little cut. So I don't know how that will affect us as of right now. So.
Thank you
Okay,
very
thank
much.
you.
Good, thank you,
See
Jill.
in 3 months.
You bet, thank you.
Next item on the agenda, the Paul Severson, IT CFO, discuss email issue, personnel, virtual desktop, infrastructure, and project. Morning, Paul.
Morning. How's everybody today?
Good.
Terrific.
I guess we'll start with the email issue since it seems to be a big thing and let you know. I know you've all been kept up to date as far as what's been going on. As you know, a week and a half ago I did an interview with GovTech and we got published nationally on this issue with our email. And about 15 minutes after that article was published, Google contacted me. An engineer from Google contacted me. We began working together on the issue, trying to figure out what was going on. We sent some test emails back and forth. Through their logs, they could see that everyone that was being put in their delay queue was because of one of their blacklisted IP addresses, which is what we suspected, but you know, until you can see the other side, that missing piece, there's no way to prove it. So at that point, the engineer and I sat down and Google provided me with all of their IP addresses, and we whitelisted every one of them. At this point, it seems like on the test emails I've been involved with, we've had a 100% success rate. Now, I'm not saying it's 100% fixed or we're getting 100% of the emails, because I don't have numbers to support that, nor can I say that. But keep in mind, down the road, as Google grows, which they are very big and they are growing, they're going to add servers, they're going to add IP addresses, and they're going to get blacklisted just by the sheer number of accounts they have, and this issue might come up again.
So when you say blacklisted versus whitelisted, given that in plain lingo.
Blacklist is, you know, Google's got 1.2 billion Gmail accounts as of January. So if you look at it, out of that 1.2 billion, if 12 million people were doing unscrupulous things like sending viruses or phishing or anything like that, they're going to take that IP address that they're coming from, they're going to go on a blacklist saying this is a virus or somebody doing something that's not above board. So, you know, that's 1% of their total email at 12 million, which is, you know, that, just to kind of put in perspective, that would be the population of South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, and Nebraska combined to equal that 1%. So the odds are pretty good, but, you know, it's a fact that whitelisted means we're going to accept emails from those IP addresses regardless. So basically we made an exception for every Google, which puts us in a position that now, as my email I sent to the departments last week to all the employees was, be mindful, we're going to get some emails that are not above board because we've whitelisted all these IP addresses from Google. So caution them to be careful not to open something that they don't know for sure is legitimate.
So it was something that Google had to do on their end?
Well, we needed to, yeah, we needed all those IP addresses. I think, I didn't count them exactly, but I think there's over 800 of them. That we
800 that have been denied by our
that we
systems
whitelisted.
that we
That's
needed
their-
to know.
that's their
So we
total.
only did those 800.
That's all Google has at this point.
So we should be safe if we're only whitelisting those 800 that we
Correct,
need.
but you're still, anybody with a Google account can now send us emails with, you know, our spam filter is going to catch anything that's we're deeming like a zip file or an exe that we're not going to let in regardless. But there is a chance that we're going to get some in here that are not above board. But that's with any email. So they provided the IP addresses so that we could add them. That was nice of them.
Correct, yeah. And that's the piece we were missing, you know.
Yeah.
We were picking them one at a time, but after seeing the list, we never got there without
But
their
if we
help.
only got the 800 we needed, how can others get in now?
This-
If they give us the 800 we want to whitelist and that's
Mhm.
all we whitelisted,
That-
how is the garbage going to get in?
That's every Google IP address. So if, whether they're on the blacklist or not, we're gonna accept the emails from them.
So we just opened up our server and said bring them all in?
Correct.
It's not something they did?
No, they provide us with the list, they provide us with the definite that, yes, every one that's going into their delay queue is because it was blacklisted, one of their blacklisted IP servers.
So what's to keep this from happening again? As the blacklist goes year after year
I
after
have
year?
I have a contact in Google with an engineer. She will try to keep me updated on any IPs they add, as long as she's there, you know. And that's, you know, that's the best we can do at this point. I mean, it's a fact of life. That's gonna happen regardless, and I don't know what else to tell you. But yeah, we are open a little bit, but, you know, in this process, you know, the other side of it is, as we're working on these issues like this, we have to be mindful not to break what we already have, like all our other emails, and our emails going out, which we never had an issue with. Or we don't want anybody in here that's not qualified, because the last call I want to make to a department head like Chris would be, we've lost all your emails in your calendar and you can't send any emails. So, you know, we always got to be mindful of that when we're working on these issues. So, you know, if anyone wants to read the article, because it's actual factual, no opinion, just total factual from GovTech, you can go to govtech.com. I did print a copy of it, one copy of it. If anyone wants to read it, I think you guys all got the email. I think most of the county has read it, so. I don't know how much more detail you want me to go into on this issue. I know we've kept you up to date on the emails and what was going on, so.
Thank you.
So you're saying that Google was blacklisted their IP, so that means no one in the world would receive email from any of those email accounts?
Depends on how they're set up. You know,
Because if it's blacklisted and you're not receiving it, but everyone else is, that means the blacklisting was on your server. You had Gmail's IP addresses blacklisted here. That's not a worldwide issue, that was a Brown County issue.
and it wasn't just a single Brown County issue. You know, I mean, I guess we could just drop all our security and just let everybody in if you feel that's what we need to do. I mean, if that's the risk we want to take.
But right now you've only authorized the 800 that we wanted.
The Google IP address is correct, and that took care of, for the most part, the Gmail issue. Like I said, I can't say it was 100%, because I don't know. I know
So is there other servers out there that we won't take emails from?
it depends. If they're blacklisted, possibly. Depends on where they're at. You know, obviously Google's the biggest one, so.
Yeah, but there's a lot of other servers out there.
Yes, there are.
And we blacklisted them so they weren't put in spam.
We don't blacklist them. Blacklist is an international world
Okay.
thing. You know, we look at anything that can cause us harm, or that cause our users harm, or harm our systems. That's part of our security, and that's for the blacklist.
So Google had them blacklisted for a reason.
Google's blacklisted for the reason that somebody in the world somebody did something unscrupulous, so the world says, hey, the emails coming from this IP address are blacklisted. There's a caution that there's a problem with them.
So when they opened them up to us, we could have that.
Once we got the IPs, yeah, we could open up and say, okay, we'll take the emails from all of these.
That's kind of scary too.
So, you know, I mean, that's the thing. You know, security is tight. We need to protect our security, and you know, it's a sheer number with Google. That's all it is. But if you take the whole population of the United States, if everyone in the United States had a Google account, it would only be 20% of their total. 21%, I think exactly, of the total Gmail accounts out there. So that's how small the U.S. is compared to the world market on these IP addresses. So it's bound to happen, and they know it, everyone knows it. But without those IP addresses, you can't whitelist them all, and that's where you go. It's a case-by-case situation. You know, if our security is that much better than everyone else in Brown County,
I'd say that's good for us. We're protecting our systems and we're protecting our people. You know, it's unfortunate that this happened, and through the process we corrected as quick as we could, but the piece we needed were those IP addresses. You know, I've got emails from 3-4 months ago between Derek and I on this issue, and that's where it was first brought up. You know, we're whitelisting them as we capture them, and that seemed to help with the show clicks. But for the total picture, we needed them all. And once Google contacted us, we got them all. They were very good to work with.
Was that the first one because this has been an issue longer than that?
It's been over a year, on and off. It's got better, it's got worse. You know, as you know, they go on a blacklist after time, they'll go off. So that, you know, it's in and out. That's the way it works. You know, it's not something Google control. They do have some agreements with a lot of the blacklists, but some of them won't play that game. They're going to blacklist them because they feel they're doing something that they belong on a blacklist, and they're going to put them there. So,
hopefully they got it solved.
yeah, I mean, for now, we seem to be okay. Like I said, I wouldn't say it's 100% fixed, because as they grow, which they will, and get more, if
How
we
about like Yahoo then? Yahoo has email server too.
very small numbers compared to Google. You know, Google is the biggest tech company in the world right now.
Google doesn't in any way let you know when they're going to blacklist an IP address.
See, and they don't know, because they're not the ones that blacklisted. It's
My concern is a year from now or 2 years from now, we're right back to where we started if this continues
it's
on.
possible, but odds are that we have right now all of them. So as they add them, hopefully, you know, our engineer stays with Google and we keep getting an update, or I can reach out to her. But once she leaves Google, then we're right back to where we were, and hopefully somebody publishes the facts without opinion and then get their attention again. I guess that seems to be the only way. And I understand Google not publishing anything that you can just call them. I mean, could you imagine the staff it would take to maintain 1.2 billion free email accounts? It'd be ungodly.
Anything else regarding the email issue?
I'll pass these out to you guys. That's what he can handle around. The fact that he's still blaming the blacklisting on Google just shows that he's not able to take accountability. Google's IP address.
So, Matt, what would, so with your expert opinion, what would you say the issue was?
You had the IP addresses blacklisted on your server.
I do not have the IP
If they were
list.
blacklisted everywhere, that means everyone you couldn't get emails from couldn't send them to anyone else because they were blacklisted. So everyone on those IP ranges running through that Google server couldn't send out to anybody, but yet only Brown County couldn't receive them.
So you're saying I blacklisted these 800 IP addresses?
They had been. They were
But I
blacklisted
didn't-
here on the server.
I did not know the IP addresses till Google sent them to me last week Thursday. So how could I blacklist them?
So was the first time you talked to Google last week Thursday?
Last week Wednesday when they contacted me after the GovTech
But you
article
had
came
said
out.
previously, 4 weeks ago, that you have been in contact and working with Gmail and Google on
No,
this issue.
I stated that we were working with their forums and their FAQs.
Well, right there in what I handed out, that was a 2-minute search on Google's forum, which directly resolved the issue. You had stated last month that you have been working with Google on this issue directly.
No, I did not. If you want to go back and look at the video, I said, well, Chris Har and I both stated we were going through their forums and their FAQs, which was available to us.
Well, I guess, you know, one of the things I don't know if this is possible, can we get something from Google stating what took place?
I can ask her, yes, I have the emails.
You know, I guess I would like to, you know, just to probably satisfy the questions or concerns, you know, I guess, you know, it'd be nice to have somebody from the other side, from Google, explaining what kind of took place. Maybe that would put people at ease, you know, and I guess if that's possible, I wouldn't mind seeing that myself, you know, what took place from Google in that part, you know, and I guess if we could get something from Google stating how this function works, and I've told you before, I'm the first guy from IT that you'll imagine, but I guess I would like a little more facts from the Google side of things saying,
Yep.
if you wouldn't mind trying to track that down and getting us something from Google, I would appreciate that. And I think that would probably clarify things a little more. You know. Does anybody else have a problem with that scenario, or would you?
Yeah, lay it to rest.
Okay. If you'd work on that, I think we'll see what...
Reach out to her right after commission.
Okay, thanks, Paul.
No problem. Anything else on that?
Nope.
I will hand these out to you. I emailed these to you, but... And I've got... Here's one for Max with the bids actually attached. The proposals. You know, last year during the budget process, we talked about the virtual desktop infrastructure that we wanted to go to here at Brown County. At that time, we budgeted $174,223 for this project, which will eliminate, you know, the desktops and go to just a thin client and eliminate a lot of issues that we have, and a lot of long-term, a lot of hardware costs. So I narrowed it down to the 4 best proposals. We reached out to pretty much everyone. Riverside Technologies out of Sioux Falls came in at $392.92, and the next closest was Connection at $147,360.162. They do not include any of the labor. It did all the rest. That's the only thing that's different between these quotes. Marco came in at $179,672.54, and Bytespeed came in at $189,995. So, as I recommended, we go with Riverside. It's a very comprehensive, very complete quote with everything we need. And with that, you know, we come in at almost $32,000 under budget on this project.
That's always nice.
So, you know, as I stated, you know, when we talk about the budget process and all that, it's hard to get it, you know, down to where you can really do some dealing until you're ready to spend the money, because technology changes so fast. So with that, once we were ready to spend, we were able to knock it down that $32,000 and bring it in at that number. So.
I know you explained this to us last summer when we were budgeting for it, but a VDI, talk a little bit more about it. It's just a centralized...
Everything comes off of a server. All the...
So these cover boxes, you don't need those by the computer?
They'll just have a little thin client on the back of their monitor. They'll still be able to do everything they need to do. The nice thing is, you know, if they do pick up a virus or something, all they have to do is log out, log back in, and run the machine again. We save all their personal files on the server, not on the actual desktop. So then when we push out updates or anything like that, we just push them out on the server. We don't have to go to individual desktops for anything. It really cuts down on my short staff as it is. So, and long term, then we're not replacing all this hardware, you know, every 2 to 5 years, and depending on the hardware. Obviously, we have a few that need an actual PC, like the attorney all have laptops that they need because they take them to court or wherever they go. So it's not for everybody, for the bulk of our department's bulk of our people, this is what they will be on. Plus, at the same time, we're moving to Windows 10. That's also included in this bid. So we will have some training sessions to move them to Windows 10. It's not a real hard transition, but it's different. So we'll spend some time and make sure everybody's ready for that. Because at the end of the year, we need to be moved to Windows 10. So.
By the end of this year. Now, once we go to this, is there quite the transition process?
No, from the desktop users don't log.
Working on, but
desktop users don't log in, and it won't be any different from them other than Windows 10 over Windows 7. For us, it's just, you know, servers in the rack and another SAN, and we have them. I bid this with them installing a lot of the stuff just because of situation with staff and what we're swamped with all the time. So that's why the connection one without any on-site was not a real good option.
Is any of this wiring or anything, or it's pretty much
No,
just
it's basically
hardware, switching it out?
Hardware and then install and training.
So by going to this program, there's a savings annually?
Yeah, we won't be replacing computers. You know, at most part it'll be monitors as they go out, which is, they're basically consumable anyway. But if, you know, everything runs off of the servers, which have a long life expectancy, we'll just refresh those on a cycle. But all these little computers in every office, we won't have that expense every few years. I think most of them are on a 5-year plan, but some of them right now are at the point where they're over. But it's going to save us, long term it's going to save us a fair amount of money.
So is this a one-time and then it lasts like 10 years, 20 years?
It's a one-time, you know, and then, you know, there's a license fee every year, you know, with Microsoft and with the VMware. But for the first year we won't have that, and then we'll bid that out for the continuing years. But it's not a huge dollar amount compared to, you know, 3 dozen computers.
And we have to be Windows 10 by the end.
Yeah, 7's at the end of life, so it's time to move forward. We'll have to do that regardless of what we do here. And then we run into all this hardware that won't take Windows 10.
Right.
So eliminating that, so.
I would entertain a motion, recommendation to accept Riverside Technologies low bid of $142,392.92.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Hanson, second by Sutton, to approve the low bid, Riverside Technology. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I did put the bids in your shared drive, if you guys want to review them at all. They're all in there. They're in a folder called DDI. So, personnel, every year I budget for intern. Last year we reached out to all, Gary and I reached out to all the tech schools or schools that had a tech program in them, and we finally got an application for an intern. It's a local kid from Ipswich. I'd like to hire him. He can start mid-May through the summer at the $11.86 intern rate with no benefits of, I think it's up to 20 hours a week. Is that the way that works? It's very hard to get interns to come up here unless they're local kids. So we have this opportunity. I think it's a good thing for us to exchange, get a little help, and also help them with their schoolwork. His major is network security, so he would be a nice little addition to our staff for the summer. So I guess I'd like to get approval to go forward with that.
Intern at $11.86 for 20 hours a week.
Moved by Kipling, second by Fishback, to approve hiring an intern for IT department for $11.86 for 20 hours or less a week.
I don't think you could be the 20.
Under 20.
Under 20. Up to 20.
Under 20, I will take my motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
What's the name?
I don't have it with me. I can send it up.
What's his start date going to be, Paul?
I think May 18th is when he can start, somewhere around there. So I'll have to get with Gary and we'll figure it out in the pay schedule or the pay cycle when we want him to start, and that type of stuff. And one other thing that's not on the agenda, really, it was on last week. Midco had sent us a renewal for one of our modems, and this morning she contacted me. They did it with the gig interface. That's not available in Aberdeen until 2019. We're one of the last cities that are going to get that. So she rewrote it to our current 200 by 200, which dropped the price to 165. So we just need to sign the new proposal. If you can, I don't know if we have to put it on the agenda for next week or, but I just received it this morning, so you know, that's entirely, if we have to put it on the agenda, I'll leave it with Max and she can get it on the agenda next week.
It actually was approved for a high dollar amount, but it was approved with different technology, the way I understand it.
Does it need to be signed
Right
now?
No, it can go next week.
I just put it
I'll
on.
put it on next week, yeah.
I just got it, so I brought it up with me.
Okay.
And it down to Max for next week. But that's basically what it is we can't get the gig connections, so they drop down $40-some until 2019 when they can offer the gig.
Okay, and this is the same,
It-
the service address is actually the modem name?
That's correct. Yep. Originally it was at First Avenue, and then when we did fiber to First Avenue, we moved it over here because we were in a 60-month contract for the price, and this is a renewal. And I stated when it came up last week, if we want to change that service address, then we'll have to rebid it at the current rate. So it'll go up. To me, the service address is just the modem identifier. You know, the billing address is still 25 Market Street, so I guess whatever we need to do to make it legit, you know.
That really doesn't have to be changed, does it? I mean, as long as we're identifying the modem to the address, or...
I just put on it modem name, not location.
Correct, yeah, and that's fine.
And that's our original contract we signed?
Correct.
That was a 5-year contract?
Yes.
When does that contract expire?
This is the renewal for
Oh,
it.
this is the renewal for that 5
But like
years.
I said, if we change that, then they're gonna say it's not a renewal, then it's a new contract. We're gonna have to go to their current rates.
Okay.
So, I guess with that, that's all I had this morning.
Okay. Anything else for Paul? You'll work on that Google?
Yep, I will see what they say.
Okay, thanks, Paul.
I'll either get what you want or their official, no, we don't want to comment.
Okay.
You know, one or the other, I can't promise anything because I'm dealing with somebody outside of Brown County here, so.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We can go back to the bid for County Road 13. It was referred earlier.
I'll check.
Clark Engineering's had a chance to inspect things and make sure everything's on the up and up.
Correct. So everything checked out, nothing changed, so I guess we would recommend that you consider award to Bituminous Paving at $786,000.
I move that.
Second.
Moved by Kifley, second by Sutton to approve the low bid. Bituminous Paving out of Minnesota. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank
Can
you.
we talk about end date when they sign that contract, or what's the time frame that we're looking at?
We put a completion date, now she's testing me here.
Sorry.
I think we put a pretty good window in here, after talking with Dirk, just to make sure you get competitive bids and actually more than we expected. I'll find it, but I believe it's September 1.
If you
To be
take them up too
completed.
much, you don't get bids, do you?
If you narrow it down, you can...
Completed by September 1?
Yes,
Okay.
but, and I don't want to speak for the contractor, but I kind of anticipated it would be before that.
Yeah, they got a history of being pretty on the ball.
Yeah.
You're gonna take those for the,
I can take them and create a bid tab and bring them back if that works for you.
but I need bid specs when you come back.
Bid specs. This?
Yeah.
You didn't get that?
Nope.
Oh, there you go.
Don, is there a penalty if they're after that date? Just curious.
I believe there are the standard contract language has liquidated damages. in it,
Okay,
So
thank you.
that's all I have unless you have questions for me.
Thank you, Don. Glad
Thank
you
you
came
very
in
much.
that much under
Very
your...
good.
I did good this time, didn't I?
I built that in though to make yourself look good.
Let's circle that on the calendar.
Yeah, one time. I never want to be,
However,
I never say that 'cause I have
not
been. I don't like being high, so.
Thank you.
Don, have a good day.
Max, you want to continue on with what you had?
Okay, there's a special malt beverage license application. This is for the horse racing event, and there are actually 3 licenses because we go by the building at the fairgrounds. So they have a license for the grandstand, and the clubhouse, which would be for May 19 and 20 and 26 and 27. And then they are having an event at the Expo building on May 26th. So that would be the third special license.
Second.
Moved by Fishback, second by Sutton to approve the special malt beverage for the Northeast Area Horse Racing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Township bonds. I think there's 3 missing yet, but we want to get these recorded.
Second.
Moved by Hanson, second by Kipley, to approve the township bonds minus the 3 that are not in yet. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Did you get a new Fair Board bylaw?
Well, it was in there, but I don't know that
It had red on it, so I don't know. Was that the final copy?
I don't know if that was the language we were talking about on that one.
Can we put that off another week so we can verify, because I thought they were going to identify the August meeting being held in July just as a matter of policy, but it doesn't state that in there.
Okay, that'll be next week then. There was a lottery application from the American Cancer Society and for Relay for Life.
Move it.
Second.
moved by Sutton, second by Hanson to approve the lottery permit for American Cancer Society Relay for Life. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We will be doing the preliminary budget memo for the 19 budget, and there's a communications council meeting May 21st, I believe it is. I could be wrong on that.
17th.
I couldn't get the agenda open that he sent to us.
And
You guys-
so what we need
The
is...
17th.
What is that?
Oh,
When he sent us the agenda for the council meeting, I couldn't open it.
what now?
When city attorney sent us that agenda, did you guys see
I
it?
didn't get it.
I did get it.
I got it, I think. It was
Could
just-
you open it?
You got it by
Yeah.
mistake. It was supposed to come to me, I guess, and they got you on the email. Rachel and I are on that committee.
Well, I knew, I just thought we were probably all gonna see it, but I couldn't get mine to open. Was there-
Yeah. That's the way I understood it from
Usually
Ron
they send it so
Wagner
we
and
all
that.
can look at it and give some input. But
Usually, I don't think
Sorry,
they've had
I
it
got
in quite a few years. This is only
Well,
the
anyway,
second meeting that
you
we've
were
had.
continuing on with budget reasons that
Right,
we won't have any
so-
numbers for May 17th at that time yet.
Well, I need a preliminary percent of raise, if any, to use in the calculation of the budget request.
What do you guys usually, is that a nickel or something? What do we, quarter?
Quarter or percent, whatever we decide to go with. What did we do last year?
We did percent.
Percent last year? Go a quarter this year? Will that work?
Sounds good.
CPI gonna be for this year?
What is it? Can't remember now.
2.5, 3, was it? No. Can't quite recall what it was.
My dog should be full today, both the kids fed it. I told them what to
2.1.
stop and feed it this
2.1.
morning.
Happy dog.
Yeah.
Hoping they
Not
screw up more
surprised,
often.
not surprised puke.
2.1.
I think you
So-
better leave it a quarter because of the security and
See,
all the other
last year you
stuff.
started with a quarter, and then I had to refigure everything because you changed it to 50 cents.
So this year we'll change it to 10 cents. It's just, I mean, it's just a place to start anyway.
well, like Rachel says, we have a lot more unexpected
Yep.
expenses coming up too.
Yep.
With that court thing.
25 cents an hour?
I guess use that for your preliminary number. That's kind of what I'm hearing, I guess.
Is it easier to go 50 and then go down if we have to?
No.
Because everyone will know it's 50 and then
Yeah.
they'll spend it before.
Yeah, you don't want to start high and go
No.
low.
So let's go quarter then.
That's just for the preliminary, right? Just to kind of get a base figure for you.
What?
That's just kind of get a base figure for you. I mean, it don't need a motion or anything at this point.
No.
do you?
That's all I have.
Gary, do you have anything?
For our policy manual discussion here, when we get that set in the next few weeks, one of the things that came up is, did you want to have me put on the list to talk about prior approvals for travel? We've had some things pop up. I know periodically a department has a last minute thing that they have to go and travel somewhere, and we don't get the pre-authorization. And I don't know if we want to try and make it so that at least in-state travel, maybe as long as the department heads know that it won't necessarily need prior approval, but I just am asking if that's something we want to consider putting on the list for discussion.
I think it needs to be.
I do too. I think we've had a lot of this happening, so it needs to be considered. Sounds good. And then I just need a quick exec for personnel.
Move it. Second.
And you might as well vote on exec for proposed or pending litigation too.
Okay. It was Sutton and Hanson, right?
Sutton Hanson or Hanson Sutton?
It don't make any difference.
Okay.
Second Hanson Sutton.
Motion by Hanson, second by Sutton to go into exec for legal and personnel. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are in exec.
I'll shut your little camera.
No action as a result. We will take a couple-minute recess just to...
Before we adjourn?
Or do you want
Well,
to
we-
go first?
I guess we'll have to take that.
This
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to the adjourn.
I'll second it.
Okay, moved by Sutton, second by Hanson to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.